What is going on, everybody? It is SCPCRNP, aka Lack of Lepers, and thank you for joining us tonight. This is our Tuesday night stream. Nice to be back. Had a fun weekend. We did our SCP Meta Config Call-In show on Sunday, and that went pretty well, honestly, all things considered. So welcome back. Happy to be back, and we are in a position to start something brand new tonight. So we will go ahead and get started. Hey, hope you're doing well, by the way. Good to see you, my one and only. Good to see you. All right, so what are we going to listen to tonight? Let me just put it up here real quick. Boom. This is what we're going to listen to tonight. This is something that, like I had said before, come across my desk a few times. People seem to like this, so let's give it a listen. This is Radiger. You may know Radiger is a YouTube personality and TikTok personality who makes video content, but also is an author on the SCP Wiki. I've read a few things from Radiger, so certainly talented at writing, certainly can do it. So in addition to that, Radiger is a pretty funny individual, a really great sense of humor, and really knows how to work a video. And her little setup here, I think, is pretty charming. Very bohemian in the sense that she's always carrying this handheld, what looks to be a Zoom microphone, field microphone. So I just think that's a nice little aesthetic. It kind of reminds me of back in the day when you used to have those little portable cassette recorders. That's what I used to have when I was a kid. And I don't mean to call Radiger a kid. I think she's like 25. So, but anyway, so this is a video that has gotten some attention. I've seen it shared and shilled. And like I said, it's come across my desk a few times. I was told that I'm briefly mentioned in this. That's not really why I want to watch it. I would watch it anyway, but I'm sure we'll get to that. That might be fun. And so without talking about it too much, we'll get into it. I think I introduced it sufficiently. It's 43 minutes long, so I certainly wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe a 5-minute video, but it's 43 minutes, so almost 44. So I figured it'd be nice to give it its own slot in the reaction series. So without any further ado, let's sit back, kick back, and listen to Radiger's SCP Authors Exposed.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to hell. And welcome also to my bedroom floor. It's a well-known fact that the audience of SCP YouTube, in the vast majority of cases, is not actually active on the SCP Wiki itself. There exists a huge divide between the on-site culture and the off-site culture, but that's not what this video is about. This video is addressing the most important current events that are happening on the SCP Wiki right now. And if you are asking to yourself, Rad, is this about what I think it's about? No, there have been a lot of things happening. Why do people drink Fireball?
Rad's something. I wish I could see the whole whiteboard. Rad's fun time. I'm gonna guess that says fun time. Just kind of getting the vibe of this video. I think that says fun time. Hell venture. And something about people who like SCP. I'm sure we'll get to it.
But these are the most important ones, and the other things can all suck it. And this is piss. And I, as an ambassador to the off-site fans, cannot let these things go undiscussed. We need to address what is happening on the SCP Wiki right now. The SCP Wiki itself is an old-school-ass forum website.
Look at this drawing here. I love it. Very, very good. I love Radiger's art style. It's sort of that modern sort of comic thing that I think a lot of people got going. No offense in that one. I just think she does it really well.
While its content is open to non-members, only members can vote on pages, contribute new pages, and talk on the forums. This leads to some interesting relationships being built betwixt authors. These relationships, be they positive or negative, do have a noticeable impact on the SCP community as a whole. Recently, some of the most popular SCP Wiki authors have been engaging in actions and making choices and not reaping any of the consequences.
Is this a satire? Or is this I'm a little confused. Like, so this is released July 8th. It's literally been a month since, at this point, it's literally been a month since the Jackrabbit thing, you know, and it's been not quite 2 months since the Bright thing. And so it's a little too soon for that statement to be taken as anything but, it feels very directed. It does not feel like a joke, but that's okay.
So when we started, this was up to here. I wrote the following line in January of 2022. Just for the record. I think that if their audiences knew what they had been up to behind the scenes, there may be a change in who supports who. That's not that much. I interviewed 5 random SCP Wiki authors and staff members who all happened to engage with a specific tweet of mine, and who have never deleted all of their social media to dodge consequences. Callie Bull.
Oh, so she's not kidding. She's talking about Jackrabbit. And I guess, well, no, because Bright still has a Twitter. I don't know if y'all know that. Bright has a Twitter.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Callie Bold changed the name to avoid being a font. Although I think on the wiki it's actually still Calibri Bold. I don't know. I know you can request new names from the staff. They'll give it to you. Oh, what a good song.
Thank you for having me.
Callie Bold, just to contextualize what I think of Callie Bold, don't have a lot of thoughts about Callie Bold at all. Haven't really noticed Callie Bold except for this last week. They wrote an article that I thought was decent and then deleted it themselves because I guess it didn't have the rating that they wanted it to have. So that was a shame to see. I really was hoping to talk about that article. I assume it's going to be posted again at some point where the author feels as though their efforts will be more appreciated, I suppose in the way of eyeballs and or upvotes. So, you know, that's cool. I guess that's how they're measuring their impact of things, and that tells us a little bit, but otherwise I don't really have any thoughts about Callie Bold.
Grigori, thank you for joining me for this interview today. Rad.
Yeah, Grigori, wow. Now, I may have sort of poked fun at Grigori in the past when we listened to Simply Creative People, mainly because his voice can jump over an octave in 2 words. You know, it's really, I counted it. It was a 14 semitone jump. From I can't even do it. That was actually just an octave. So I mean, that was kind of impressive in an unintentional way. But you know, Grigori Karpin, you know, I think you got to like the guy, right? I mean, especially what happened after Jackrabbit with him. And I do appreciate him. He actually came by the Confic magazine channel. You probably wouldn't want me saying this, repeating this information publicly like this, but very few people watch this, so I think it's okay. He came by the Confic magazine and had a comment on one of those videos that I do, surmising his one of his articles, you know, in 5 words, and so that was really nice to see. I know he didn't have to do that, and I felt like he was just sort of reaching out. Me and Grigori have had a little bit of a skirmish in the past. I was pretty aggressive with him and sent him a message on Wikidot about his involvement in the famed SCP-6500 dog pile, where a bunch of these like apparently really solidified and secure authors decided to try to invalidate the act of criticizing their article by ganging up on somebody who said they didn't like it. So that was something I was more than happy to call out. But you know, other than that, you know, that's something different about people in the wiki and me, is that if you talk bad about me, which I'm sure I'll see in this video, like I don't really hold a grudge, right? Like I don't know what it maybe, I don't know what that's due to, but I mean, you know, it kind of just, I mean, sometimes it's really funny, you know. I can certainly laugh at myself. I don't get the same vibe from these people. If you insult them once or criticize them, they tend to hold grudges, you know, almost indefinitely. They can't really look past that, but not Grigori. So that's why I'm saying that Grigori is different.
Guel, the other rad, V. Sherm from Site 42. I am here with Nagiros, wiki
Nagiros. I was wondering how you say that.
author and staff member Yasi. Yasi, how are you doing?
Could be better. The wild hogs got out again.
If you're wondering why I said 5 people and there are actually 6 of them, the answer to that is fuck you.
The last 2 shots.
The alcohol was not in the original script. That came later. For the purposes of science, we are going to use these people as a microcosm of the SCP Wiki at large. Compiling the...
I mean, obviously, so what's not working about this is that, once again, it seems, I can't believe that's her haircut. It seems as though, you know, there's this attempt to be satirical and funny, but it's not really coming through. It's coming through as very, very serious, you know, very pointed. But, you know, at the same time, Radiger has chosen 6 authors who have, like, you know, 0 skeletons in their closet, right? Like, I can't stay on the same page as this video.
Sins of each author and using them to judge the community as a whole. I'm gonna drink this entire thing before the video runs out, hand to God. Are we worth saving? We are about to find out. I'm gonna drink a fuck ton of water also, because I'm smart. And I practice safe getting drunk on purpose for the internet. Tell us about your...
So another thing that's kind of ironic about that is that there's this joke here where you interview 6 people and then you define the whole community by those 6 people, but that's actually, once again, kind of accurate as to what the SCP Wiki will do. So you have people in something like the Society for Containment Fiction or RPC or any other competing space that's nominally doing this similar things as what they're doing, and they tend to sort of define everybody by just a few. I mean, the whole SCF is defined by harmony, you know, in the eyes of the SCP, you know, opinion at large, and to a lesser extent myself. But, you know, you have people who suffer the consequences of that, you know, who are really innocent, who really haven't done anything wrong, and who are good people, and who don't deserve to be, you know, lumped in with the sins of, you know, someone else, whatever you think of those things. So it just, once again, this doesn't really come off as satirical in a lot of ways yet.
Your overall experience with the wiki. Anything new you've written or made that you'd like to plug or talk about?
Well, there's Site42 on TikTok and Site42 on Twitter and Site42 on YouTube. We're getting a lot done. I wish I had more.
I bet you that when Radiger is talking to the Sherm about exposed authors and their sins, I kind of want to bet you $1,000 or so that she's not going to mention the fact that the Sherm publicly defended and still houses a who is essentially a sex offender in his community. And you know, honestly, to give credit where credit is due, a lot of people from the SCP have called him out on this continuously. You know, because it's kind of a bad look for someone to. I mean, it would almost be like somebody. It's not necessarily as bad as this, but it's almost like somebody defending Bright, you know, for what he did. I mean, it's kind of, there are similarities there. That's a hyperbole because I'm just reaching to kind of give you an idea of what that's like. But that's kind of, you know, to some people, there probably isn't a lot of a difference. This person did apparently some things to people that we have, you know, I'm not just going off of hearsay. We have evidence and confessions of the person themselves, or Zerself, excuse me, whatever that is. Yeah, how much you want to bet that will not be mentioned here?
More time to write, but you know, there's only so much you can do with 5 jobs.
It's about a very demonic baby. SCP-6469 is a baby. It's extremely evil and has lots of demonic properties.
Yeah, I just uploaded something for the contest, which is SCP-6237, called Oh You Lucrative Devil.
I have not posted to the SCP Wiki in about 1 year. Read SCP-4051. It's the best thing I've ever written.
It is very good.
That's all.
Yeah.
Who was that? 4051? I'm just curious. I think I lost track of who that was supposed to be. A male humanoid, your friendly neighborhood Keter. Oh, it's Nagrios. Okay.
I started with Exquisite Corpse Con.
I think there's a fun edgelord attitude to some aspects of the community, but for the most part, I think it's been very welcoming, and
Edgelord.
It's just fun, honestly. Especially since I started doing the podcast, I feel like putting the energy out there to do like super positive whatever is a good thing.
Yeah.
So this is something that I'll say about the SCP Wiki Spaces Discord and whatnot. It really is a fun place, right? Like, most of the people there are interested in just having a good time. And it's very carefree. It's very happy-go-lucky. There's a lot of bubbly personalities there, a lot of intelligence there. But that's sort of like this very thin veneer, very sort of tenuous milieu. And as soon as somebody says something that's, different, or a different idea about something, or a differing opinion, particularly politically, about anything, it gets really, really ugly really quickly. And so it's kind of like this sweet-faced place that can really just turn on a dime and become, you know, those people, right, in real life who are like, they seem so nice, they almost try too hard to be nice, and then, you know, if you just say the wrong thing, you know, you kind of see the bad side of them come out. That's kind of what the SCP spaces are like.
Well, I joined the wiki in 2018 or so, and joined staff around 2020, I want to say. Did a lot of tagging, and my persona on Mast was the Miku.
Well, actually, as some of you may know, I am a prominent moderator and contributor to the r/SCP Declassified subreddits. And I've actually been writing a dual essay on the narrative consequences of Tanhoney's 2 Among Us articles.
Oh, I would love to read that. Are you kidding me? Come on, man.
How they fit into the greater concept of fan fiction as a whole.
That sounds so philosophical. I'm willing to take that seriously.
There have been many consequences of those.
Yes.
For example, they made a game.
Wow.
Yes, Among Us by a group called Inner Slobs.
They were such big fans.
Quite viral.
How long have you been a wiki admin?
2 days.
So that's 2 days worth of all of your life's problems being solved. That must be nice.
Yeah. Anyone comes up to me and be like, "Hey, your wild hog just destroyed my house." I can say to them, "I'm a wiki admin." They're like, "Darn."
It does hold a lot of clout in the community, in local spaces. How's the big hog doing?
Well, I haven't seen him since last October, but there's been some rumors going around the town. It's been kind of difficult, especially since he keeps, barging into people's homes and subsequently destroying the homes because he is massive.
So your giant hog is destroying people's homes?
Yeah, it's been unfortunate, and thankfully I can solve all my problems by being a wiki admin.
The following questions broach a wide
That was pretty funny.
range of topics. I made sure that my interviewees were entirely unprepared to be put on the spot, thus ensuring the greatest amount of honesty and truthfulness from each answer.
Yeah, because you're really throwing some hardballs at them, aren't you?
But I did decide to start them off with a little bit of a softball. And this user wanted to know, based on some rumors that they heard, whether or not you have ever worn another wiki author as a suit.
Listen,
Generally speaking,
Rad has really, really good comedic timing. Most people would not be able to stand the awkwardness of that pause. So that worked really well.
flaying and then skinning and wearing that skin is oftentimes frowned upon in many cultures, but it's a fairly commonplace occurrence here in the wiki.
I do not have the Adobe Premiere file open, and I can't actually remember who was pro skin suit, so I'm just going to write it down for all of them. There we go. Equality. Perhaps I am a little drinky.
My favorite skin, I gotta say, it's gotta be Rounder House's, It just breathes so well.
Ultimately, I think it's not purely a Rounder House issue. I would say that if Rowliston were not hollow physically, no one would be able to wear them. Same goes for many others. I think ultimately there's an issue on both sides, and we have to discuss both the causes and equipment used in this procedure.
Speaking
How y'all doing tonight?
of Rounder House, are you and Rounder House close?
Rad, I asked you when I came here to not talk about my romantic life, please. I'm not here to promote
It's
that.
all consensual, obviously. Well, we would never wear another person's skin without their consent.
How many times do I
Okay.
have to apologize?
If not for the rampant scooping of mortal individuals, we wouldn't have this issue.
The scooping has definitely been a huge issue recently.
Wearing shaggy dreadlocks like a skin suit to almost win the SCP 5000 contest.
It was my understanding that that was a
Many times.
collab.
I found a lot of young people, 17, 18, who go into the forums asking for idea crit and boom, scoop, just like that. I think it's a real shame.
My updoot average was just so low. And so when
Had to
I
bump that average.
asked myself to be the sound designer on that article, even though Volgan was already there. He was already making a film. I'm sure he could do 3 sound designs, but
Volgan's probably
had
too
to
busy
get
styling
myself
his
in the
hair.
door.
I heard that Volgan is actually sourcing his beard diamonds from less than ethical sources.
weird blood diamonds, the bastard.
Yeah, he's getting them from people's blood. That's
How
what
they got that beautiful red color. I knew it.
allegedly. Allegedly. I'm not about to defame anyone on my very, very large and influential YouTube channel. But
Yeah, that kind of says it all, doesn't it? That's okay. We're having fun.
My entire philosophy in life is to avoid drama at all costs.
interesting that you would choose to do this interview, because I actually have some drama relevant questions for you. One of my followers brought to my attention that your pants shitting ray is currently aimed directly at New York. Do you care to explain why that is? And I wanted to know if you, as a mod on Reddit, have any plans to prevent him from firing it off.
Quite
Dang.
frankly, I've been to New York twice. And one time I had some subpar ice cream.
It's only 6 square blocks of New York. And if you live in that 6 square blocks, you know what you did.
Perhaps a shit pantsing ray?
Or maybe a
Which
pants
one were so
pissing
bold?
ray?
This was a mistake. I feel like that horse from SCP-6612. This was a mistake. I'm not going to have a good time listening to this. Let's keep going.
I think for legal reasons, I would like to distance myself from this comment made by Tanforad. I am in no way affiliated with the YouTube channel this is put on.
Thankfully, I have arranged with this particular admin to use the pants shitting ray aimed at New York City as a distraction.
So that you can fire people
Probably going to cut it short tonight, gang. Let's see how long we can go.
in the space. What if I told you that there are minors in that 6 square block? And some of them...
God, this is so weird. It's like the weirdest sense of humor ever. Why would you joke about this at this moment in time? I mean, we just had Bright. You just had Jackrabbit, who was doing some shit like that too, by the way. I just don't get it. I can't get in the headspace of somebody who wants to joke about this stuff at this moment in time. Unless you're trying to capitalize on that, which is... I don't want to assume that of Rad. Although she did write that SCP, 32J, which was basically just an attempt to convert social media attention into upvotes, I guess, on the site.
might even
Like
be...
coal miners?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grigori Karpin is like desperately trying to help her out. Like MINERS? That's pretty smart.
I'd like to dispel the fallacy that a pissing ray exists.
Exactly. If they're too busy with shitting their pants, they won't see my plans come to fruition.
So you are for the pants shitting ray then? Are you going to take upon yourself that responsibility of issuing that evacuation?
No, I don't like to warn people before I use the ray.
Right.
That would ruin the joke.
What's the point?
I have no knowledge of such a device.
Shitting your pants builds character. It would behoove almost anyone
Yes.
to go through that experience.
Will it give them
The more public, the better, for the same reason.
hooves?
God, I hope so.
Even if I did, I actually stopped working on it after the trigger mechanism was put in place, so I wouldn't even be held accountable. And I'd like to move on, if that's okay.
Are there any specific edgelords that live in that 6 square block?
Yeah, Yeah, Marcellus Reigns.
Yeah.
I know that he recently
That's
had a
pretty
baby.
good.
What problems do you have with his baby? The user Marcellus Reigns has recently added another troop to his steadily growing baby army. Are you at all concerned about the possibility of a hostile takeover of the wiki?
Mars is a rat bastard.
Well, it's more of a general problem with all babies. I feel like they're probably equivalent to a plague or a locust of rats. You know,
Locust of baby.
Locust of rats, babies. A locust of rat babies.
Yeah, swarm.
yeah, baby
A swarm of locusts, I guess, is.
locusts. Swarms of. That's right. Swarm would
Yeah.
be the right word, not locust.
I don't really have an opinion on babies.
Holy
Not something
shit.
that I've campaigned for or against, really.
You're choosing to remain neutral on the issue of babies?
I prefer to call myself a baby centrist.
Let's try to keep it professional. You do have a child though, at least one?
3 actually.
3. That is a
Wow.
lot.
That is a
Yes.
lot.
How do you defend your actions regarding having 3 children? So it's kind of I'm getting that it's kind of a long con to get Marcellus Reigns' baby to shit his pants.
Yeah.
He and his baby
That'll happen right away.
army are going to be the death of the wiki if there ever is one.
I heard that they already have their own little tiny Wikidot accounts, and they're already maliciously downvoting everyone, allegedly. I also think procreating is for losers,
Every single page.
including Mars's.
Yeah, breeding. Why would anyone do that?
Glad we are on the same page.
Oh, so it's just total self-destruction across the board. I was under the opinion it was an invasion.
I think it
How y'all doing? This was a mistake, but let's just get through the night.
was an attempted invasion, but I don't know if he can fully control them. Speaking of,
You know, after 1,000 years, you've seen enough babies, and I've seen enough.
They can't incentivize. You can't incentivize a baby with food and drink. They don't know what that is yet.
then it's
When
probably
I was
gold.
running my baby army. Gold.
Does a baby having a beard give it the right to live?
Yes, but
Right? What are they gonna spend it on? You know, just tricks down at the soda pop stand or something similar. It's wasted money, honestly.
They're gonna spend it on Among Us stickers, Beyblades. I don't know.
Just don't let-
You know,
mean,
I don't.
really, at the end of the day, if someone is supporting the idea of procreation, you got to wonder, where are their goals? Where are their priorities?
Why
Certainly
are they
not.
on the SCP
with,
wiki in the first
you know,
place?
Mars, just rat bastard. Don't tell him I said that. I don't want him to stick his babies on me.
Well, I would say that the worst crime that Mars committed is buried.
Didn't catch that last part.
I said being a very talented writer.
Wow.
I know that in order to become an admin, you have to kill an admin and take their spot. So who did you bump off the register, as it were?
Well, instead of killing an admin, I decided to take the more creative approach and retroactively erase them from existence. I think honestly, it was a better and more ethical way of taking an admin position. I would tell you who I did that to, but you don't know them.
They found an image of a 16th century pirate that looked identical to you. So what my question is, how does more immortality feel, and when were you actually born?
Oh, I wasn't.
Which members of the wiki are immortal, and why you have chosen to hide their identities from the public?
Well, the immortal ones, whose identities we've hidden from the public, include Rounderhouse, Azemeller.
Have you ever considered returning to a primordial ooze?
Yeah, daily.
Jonathan, who I retroactively erased from existence, by the way.
Certain individuals do not age, you know, as some of us may, but I don't think that's something that needs to be shared with the public.
I would
when
look.
you
Hey,
came out of that alchemist's
my one viewer. I wouldn't blame you if you left. Go ahead. Go ahead. This isn't going to get any better. Well, look at you. Your stamina is commendable.
Lab, were you a fully formed man, or did you have to spend a brief stint as a horrid baby?
Yeah, it was a very brief stint with as a horrid baby, but fully bearded.
Probably Zin, though we haven't confirmed it yet.
Are any
Well,
of them
we're
on
immune,
the wiki?
but we don't want to. Are any of them on the wiki? Probably.
Hey, can somebody tell me this? Why did the SCP authors, why are they so ubiquitously represented by cartoons, like cartoon versions of themselves?
Yeah.
I'm getting the drift that you're not going to tell me who they are.
Yeah, they're all anonymous because we don't want people trying to, like, test their immortality and, like, stab them in, like, an inconvenient moment.
What about stabbing them at a convenient moment?
Mallard... Oh, well, that's different.
Well, usually I would say that if you think that someone is really talented, right, in a creative endeavor, they're probably draining the life force of other people.
Wouldn't it not be a problem
those are
with
the people
Jonathan
who are
because
anonymous.
Jonathan has been erased?
Oh, well, he might come back.
However,
Yeah,
I
all
think
the people that I
talented
look
people
up to
are
the
difficult
most.
to find on the SCP wiki.
Well, then we'll enter quantum superposition of adminship, and the universe will implode. So I'm praying that does not happen.
Don't you think that sounds a little bit irresponsible?
Next question.
Hot takes with Radiger.
So when you
It is nice to see these people having a good time.
say that the elites are gaming the system, would you say that you are anti-gamer?
Not at all. In fact, I'm a huge supporter of gamers. Everybody knows gamers are the most oppressed race. Okay? People who try to...
Are you gatekeeping
Exactly.
the definition of game?
Absolutely. Absolutely I am. I am gatekeeping it against people who would use it for evil. I'm not one of those sorts of people who's like, oh, you're not a real gamer. But when somebody comes in and says, actually, I am extremely transphobic, I'm like, no, you gotta stop that right now, okay? That's not what gaming is all about. Have you ever even played Fallout New Vegas?
An anonymous fan of mine actually sent me a DM on Wikidot about this. I'm not going to share details because they're a little bit concerned about their safety regarding this question. But that question is, do you ever think...
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous and unproductive personally. What are you thinking about over there?
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's kind of a slippery slope. Like, if you're just sitting around and you're thinking all the time, what are you thinking about? Men? I've heard rumors that thinking too much will turn you gay. I thought once, and now I'm gay.
I'm very, very sorry for your misfortune there, Rad. I'm very sorry about that. Is that what happened to me? Jesus.
This is like an episode of SNL where the funniest part of it is watching the people trying not to laugh.
You might have thought before you even remembered thinking. And boom, you're gay.
Well, I guess I have to unpack that after this call ends. Try and track down when that thought happened and what I was thinking about.
You're
That
probably thinking about
being
gay.
homosexual.
Probably thinking about gay stuff, I'd imagine.
I was probably thinking about women. You're right.
Oh my God, girls. That's too many. It's too many gay people.
It's too many.
They're gonna be running around, decorating,
Oh my God.
wearing shorts.
God.
This was a mistake.
Sorry.
This was a mistake.
Why did you do it?
Well, it was funny. That's mostly why I do everything at the time. I find that legally, morally, ethically, in all ways, the defense of it was funny is universal. I mean, I don't
Yeah, it
care
also
what
makes
you
it legal. If it was done ironically, then you...
Okay, well, we got about halfway-ish. I'm calling it there. this was an unproductive session, and I didn't do my job. I should have. I feel terrible. I should have screened this to make sure that it was something worth watching, and I'm sorry I did not do that. Looking back, I don't know. I don't know the reason for my faith in this video. There is no explanation for that, so I owe you an apology. Let's just get this off here, and we're going to end it there. It's been 40 minutes, so, or 30 minutes, 35. We'll end it a little soon tonight. I don't think we'll be returning to this video. If you enjoyed what you watched, a link will be in the description, of course. You can check out the rest of this one. Yeah. What to say? Not much to say. I feel old. I've never felt more justified in being contrarian to the culture of SCP. And I'm sorry. You don't deserve that. So I'm sorry. That's my apology for the night. This has been SCP-CRNP, aka Lack of Lepers, and we'll catch you next time on Thursday. We'll have something new to listen to. Have a great few days. Hope to see you then.